Rig Shot Manipulation, or RSM for short, a new discovery in Splatoon 2 that allows for shooters and blasters to remove its shot deviation entirely. It's almost like a cheat code in its execution, the only problem being that rigged shot manipulation does not exist. Many thanks to Frosty, FLC, Jax, and most importantly Bradley or Hydra for the creation of this video. I'm Aris, and I'm going to tell you why RSM is proposed to work, why it doesn't work, and also a potential new discovery in Splatoon. How does it work? According to Bradley's video, they claim it works by manipulating the RNG of each shot whenever RSM is executed. However, with an interview with Frosty, the founder of RSM, it's not entirely the case. This response to the question leads me to believe there isn't hard evidence on any RNG being manipulated, but for the sake of the video, we will still call it RSM. So unless there's hard evidence of the game's parameters on accuracy being changed, there's no manipulation of any RNG. There are additional factors in the RSM clip shown for aerospray that could and very likely account for more shots hitting. We could compare this with my recreation with only holding forward at the same distance Bradley started shooting and see that the results are nearly identical. This brings us to my next point, stating that RSM is mostly just walking forward and closing the gap to your target. When performing RSM, you do a specific set of L-stick motions in the figure 8 pattern. I don't think the input order matters, but we will respect it. When we graph the movements of the player, you can see that you move diagonally right, diagonal left, and then left, and repeat. By doing these motions and comparing the original position to the current position, we could see the character moves forward with no changes in left or right. This has a clear connection to the clip shown before, where the aerospray is hitting a dummy with similar RNG as well as similar time to kill. Another reason why RSM wouldn't work in the way it was proposed is because moving the L stick does not change the position of where the weapon is. We can see this in-game by holding Y to reset the camera. The player position is influenced by the reticle position, but the reticle position is never influenced by the player movement. The player movement can't change the angle you're looking at. You'll see that the direction of the player model is looking at is being changed, but the reticle stays in the same place. But when shooting or holding Y, the player model snaps to wherever the reticle is looking. The only influence that the player has over the reticle is the location of where the shots come from. To summarize so far, number 1. RSM can't manipulate RNG. Number 2. Walking forward has the same effect, and that RSM is effectively the same as walking forward, but more complicated. Number 3. L-stick moving can't change the angle of the gun. With these 3 points, we can conclude that RSM does not work the way it's proposed. However, I bring up a new hypothesis. When shooting targets in training to get clips to disprove RSM, it was very difficult for us to get a 96 gal clip while straight jumping, but it was easier to get a clip while walking forward and jumping. While this could be at the fault of closing the gap or skill issue, we didn't want to rule out the possibility of momentum playing a role on why the shots hit more often. In reference to main power up for Jet Squelcher, it increases the shot velocity and therefore the range of the weapon. As we could see from this crude diagram, the slices before max range, no MPU, have a wider slice than MPU Jet with 8.5 increase in range. This increases its accuracy at closer ranges than its max with MPU than without, and we could translate this to our new idea. If we're able to prove that momentum does affect shot velocity, then we could attribute this to an undiscovered hidden game mechanic in Splatoon. Why did this hypothesis come to be? The change of motion of an object is proportional to the force impressed and is made in the direction of the straight line in which the force is impressed. So say you throw a ball at 20 units per second while standing still. The ball would travel at 20 units per second until it decreases in speed. If you run at 12 units per second, your ball will travel at 32 units per second due to the increased momentum in the same direction as the ball. Going back to Splatoon, if we're moving while shooting, the bullets should add your current momentum to the shot velocity. This is a proposed solution why blaster directs shooter shots feel easier to hit while moving forward. If true, proving that Hydra's and Frosty's initial discovery with RSM was something that affects aim positively but wasn't rigged shot manipulation. It was regular stick movement. While this isn't the tech they wish to have found, this is still a very interesting concept that we can hope to see in Splatoon 3. Squid Surge, a newly added movement option in Splatoon, allows for players to lunge in the direction they choose and shoot right after. Tying into our hypothesis, the surge may increase momentum and thus shot velocity and accuracy. It is very exciting to see Range Blaster be able to hit a direct in the air in a Splatoon trailer after 6 years. In conclusion, we need more people looking into finding new discoveries when it comes to Splatoon. If it weren't for people like Hydra and their ambition to RSM, we would have never found tech like substrafing or right peaking. It led us to another idea that could be another discovery. The issue being it is difficult to test techniques or mechanics that influence aim due to the lack of observation tools we have built into the game. I encourage everyone watching this video to try and make their own discoveries, find evidence for or against my hypothesis on momentum, and to not be afraid to be wrong. I admire the effort Bradley put into their video and their dedication to it, and I hope as a community we could all try and look for more things about this game. Thank you for watching.